Hi guys. This is going to be our video on the second section of Literary Elements Cornell Notes. Just remember, of course, that you've already filled in your name, your date, and your class period. And I have filled this all in blue because remember, in our class, blue means that it's a sample, red is instructions, and green means you can copy it. So you are going to fill in the notes for the 1, 2, 3, or 4 sections that you did not pass on the pretest. And then you are going to ask questions or make statements for each of the other sections, or for each section also, sorry. Okay, so today we're going to do part 2, literary element or elements of a story. So the first word is, and a lot of these you guys are probably kind of familiar with, but maybe just didn't quite remember everything about it. So the first part is setting. This is where the story takes place in time and place. And so that's one thing that can be kind of tricky. It's where and when. A character is the protagonist, antagonist, hero, villain. They're the people that move the plot along and the reason that many readers stay with the story. Now, there's different types of characters. There are round characters. That's a main character who shows growth and is capable of change. They can also be called dynamic characters. A flat character is a character that is not well developed. And because they're not well developed, they're usually not a major character. A static character, a lot of people get flat and static confused, but a static character can be a main character. They just don't change over time. So if you have a villain and they're bad from the beginning to the end, then they're just flat, or they're static. They just didn't change. A dynamic character is a character who does change over time. And they tend to make good protagonists because a lot of times we want to see our protagonist work through a personal struggle. Then we have point of view. This is how the story is told by the narrator or author, and it's either first, second, or third person. And we'll get a little bit more detail into that later in the year. Plot, these are the events of the story, and you've maybe seen a plot line on your teacher's board a time or two. It's from the beginning to the end. So the next couple of things are elements of plot. So there's rising action. That's the incidents that create suspense, interest, and tension, and that's at the beginning of the story. And if the, conflict. This is important because without a story, there is no conflict. So it's it often prevents the characters from achieving their goals, but allows them to grow. So there's types of conflict. There's man or human, man versus self, society, nature, beast. Okay. Then the climax. That's the most exciting section of the story where the main conflict is resolved. And then we have resolution. This is how the story ends and what happens after the climax. Now, relating to conflict, there's another 2 types of conflict. There's internal and external. So internal conflict is struggle arising from opposing demands or impulses, and this is man versus self conflict. But all the other types of conflict are external. So it's a conflict between a character and an opposing force. This could be another person, a beast, it could be nature, or it could be society. Oh, did we forget society up here? Dun, dun, bum, bum. Yes. No, we didn't. Okay, sorry. Just wanted to check. Okay, so now we've gone over those elements, which is part 2. And so now what we need to do is type 5 comments or questions. So these are the comments or questions for the first part. So I would just scroll down, and I'm typing this in blue because again, blue is a sample, but you can't copy it. And I'm going to number it for my teacher so she knows that I did it. So number 1. If I still have a question between I could ask a question. What is the difference between flat and static characters? Okay, so 5 questions like that. Then, of course, when you're done at the end, you have to come down to the bottom, and you have to write your 1 to 2 sentence summary of what you learned in these notes. So I learned a lot about figurative language, including how important repetition is. Whatever you learned, don't steal my learning. Okay, I hope that helped. and that you were able to complete your notes. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a good day.